My name is Tristan Walker, and I interviewed Stephen Climenhaga.
I was born in Outlook, which is just outside of Delisle, but my entire life, up until I went to university, was in the town of Delisle.
Right.
Yeah.
How's your childhood growing up in Delisle and Outlook?
Growing up in Delisle? It was pretty good. Delisle's a small town, so probably not much different than Belcaris or Okanese, you said? Is that, you know everybody, played a lot of sports, basketball, baseball, no, I can't complain about my childhood growing up in the small town at all. Fortunately, my father had a good job, so we were also able to see a lot of other places other than just the town, so we were able to go around to a lot of places. But no, I'd say it was a good... Can't complain.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, growing up, who are some of your inspirational role models?
Well, I think, obviously, my parents. Like I said, my dad had a full-time job.
Yeah.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom. But they both were great parents, and they both valued an education, which was important. As well as, I guess, if I go outside of family, I would say there was a couple school teachers that were...
School teachers?
Yeah, a couple school teachers. I'm pumping one up for your teachers here. no, there's definitely a couple school teachers there that played a role in me. As far as my my role models, I loved Wayne Gretzky. If you know him, if you're old enough, he would have been... he was a big role model for me, just the way I saw him handle himself being a professional athlete and that. So, but mostly my parents, the teachers, and and Mr. Gretzky.
Did any of these give you the idea that you become a police officer or involved with it?
No, actually, none of those. When I graduated from high school, the inspiration, where I said earlier, was school teachers. I actually chose a different profession.
Oh.
I went to the U of S and I became a school teacher.
Oh, nice.
So for 7.5 years I taught school. And I was a principal of a school for 4 of those.
Principal?
Yeah.
Holy.
So I guess when you think of the previous question you asked who my inspiration was, definitely those teachers drove me to that career. I'll talk about what made me become the police officer was... Growing up in a small town, as I'm sure you're aware, you usually know all the police officers, right? I had friends whose parents were police officers.
Me too.
Yeah, always respected them.
Yep.
Just because I shouldn't say just because, but obviously my parents believed you respected, those in positions of authority. So I always respected the police. And about 7 years in, my ex-wife now. Both of us decided that we'd like to do a career change, and we had some good friends that were members of the RCMP. She's from a small town as well, so just growing up and respecting that profession and having good friends in it, we thought, you know what, let's give it a shot. And back then in 1998, I joined the RCMP.
1998?
They were recruiting Aboriginal people and females very heavily. They went away from that for a while, and that's where we're back to right now. Once again, we're recruiting a lot of Aboriginals and females. So at that time, we decided, hey, let's give it a shot. It's something I always considered doing, but I went the teaching route. And then when I decided to change careers, I thought it was just a great opportunity. So decided to give it a shot, and here I am, 16 years later. Almost 16.
Almost 16. Well, that answers the next question. How long have you been in your profession?
Yeah, so I went into training in April of 1998 and graduated in November of 1998. Because back then it was 28 weeks of training.
28 weeks? 28
weeks. Now it's 24.
Cut off for a month?
Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
So I did that... in 1990, I went to Swift Current, Saskatchewan, is where I was posted first.
Swift Current.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
What have been some challenges you have faced in your profession?
Well, I'll go through a few of them because I'm going to try to recruit you here. You have friends that are police or parents for police. family was definitely a challenge early on because in two ways. One is there's a lot of shift work involved in police work.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know, when do most people get involved with the police?
Yeah.
At night and on weekends,
Yeah.
and when alcohol's involved, and that's typically when those things are available. So due to the shift work, I'm probably missed out on a lot of things that my kids were doing. Like, you know, like you said, you played fastball in the games. Well, maybe I have to work. Maybe I have to work all night, come home, go to bed, and sleep for a large portion of the day, miss out on some school things. So that was definitely a challenge. As I became older, I've learned how to balance that more. If I could give a young constable or a young recruit some advice, it would be to balance that family stuff early in their career. The other part with family too is that when you're a police officer, as you know, there's lots of people, I shouldn't say lots, there's some people out there that don't like police officers.
Yeah.
So sometimes my kids were picked on at school because their parent was a police officer. Okay?
Holy.
So you can see that, right? If the police come to your house on the weekend and take mom and dad away, or even yourself, easy target, right? Now, they weren't beat up or this or that, but I do remember my daughters coming home where other kids had said, your dad's a pig. You know, the nickname type thing. So that's a challenge. Another challenge sometimes is changing communities. You know, you get in, you meet good people, you meet friends, you get comfortable in a place, and then we get transferred. And you probably see that lots, right? Especially on the First Nation, we seem to transfer a little quicker. You probably see a police officer come in, you get used to their family, you like them or whatever, or maybe you don't like them, but then they're gone. And a new one comes in. So that's a challenge. Other than that, like I say, the moving and some family things that I think I could have managed better myself. And I think one of the biggest challenges that I'm seeing now is being able to handle the criticism we see from the public. Everybody's always telling you how to do things, or there's a better way, or why didn't you do that? And obviously when you're a member of the RCMP, you're kind of a high profile, right? So when something happens and it hits the news, it represents all of us.
It does.
So when someone doesn't do something great, because how often do you say, oh yeah, that Constable Smith, or do you say that damn RCMP?
Not too often.
Not you, because I see like, but you know, when you hear your friends or whatever, they talk about the police, right? Or the RCMP, not about that person they're dealing with. Nope, that's it.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit, I'd say.
All
right, so could you take us through a day in the life of what you do and
what we're doing? Okay. In my current position, as I said earlier, I'm the Aboriginal Advisory NCO for the South District. So I work in a unit called APS, or Aboriginal Policing Services. Now what my job is to help develop relationships between the First Nations we police and the detachments that police them. As you know, as I said before, people moving in and out, and a lot of people may not be knowledgeable about the First Nation culture, how to deal with chief and council, how to deal with the police boards that are out there, even something that we take for granted, like the value or importance of an elder. Okay? So I liaise between the detachments and the First Nations and assist them with some of the issues they may face. I also review reports that come from the detachments as to how policing is going in the First Nation. Okay, so I'm kind of in an administrative position right now. Now, if I was a corporal out in, I'll say, the field or out at a detachment, my job then would be supervising the constables, the majority that you see out on the street going to the calls. But in my current job, I'm more an administrative type. So a lot of reading reports and sitting at desk. And I go out to help build those relationships. I go out to schools, do things like the photo shoot here. Last Friday I was in Kamsack at the Soto Days, helping serve elders lunch and doing some career presentations, things like that. So a lot of the just getting out there and being a role model, and more specifically for Aboriginal kids, and maybe try to recruit a few of the good ones out there, right, Tristan? Yeah, so it's a little different than what you would normally see for a corporal. Yeah.
Would you have any words of advice for others trying to follow what you do?
Yeah, I would. I think one of the big things that the biggest advice I can give youth today when I go out to these presentations or even just talking one-on-one is to realize that what you're doing now will affect your ability to gain employment in the future. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Do you know what I mean? I never really thought of that when I was young. Some of the things I did when I was young, I never worried about how the bearing it would have on me in the future. Fortunately, I wasn't that crazy of a guy, but
Yeah.
I think we're so much more in the public eye. Like, I even think of my own daughters and getting on Facebook or Twitter and the things they post or say, even if they're just joking around. I know if I'm an employer and I'm thinking of hiring Tristan, where's one of the first things I might look at? His Facebook.
Yeah.
And he's on there smoking a joint or F this or F that. It's going to give me. So, but also at the same time, advice for someone following in my footsteps would be realize too that as a young person you do make mistakes, but it's never too late to turn it around.
Yeah.
Like somebody says, oh, I smoked marijuana, I can't be a police officer. Oh, I stole something when I was in grade 11, I'm done, the police dealt with me. Well, that's not true. We realize people make mistakes, but we also look for the people that understand that, realize it, turn things around and get on a better path, right? But I think one of the biggest things is, I don't know what the saying is, but like something can come to haunt you that you did in the past.
Yeah.
But there's never too late to do it.
Yeah.
I also, obviously, education. I know teachers and parents harp on that, but nowadays employers, man, if you can't finish grade 12 or you can't hold down a job, why would the RCMP want you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So education, respecting people. If we're looking for people that respect others in the community, not just elders, anybody, right? Your classmates. I can tell from walking around with you that you're well liked and you're a good guy. I can just see from the tour you gave me, right? You can probably look at other people, friends or in your school that you think not good for a police officer, right?
A lot.
Yeah, so you can see that yourself, I can tell. So no, but education, staying on the right path, having a vision for yourself, not just hanging out, having a good vision as to what you want to do. Because if you have that vision, even if it doesn't work out, like look at me, I always wanted to be a school teacher, Hey, it worked out for me. 7 years later, still wanted to be a school teacher, but there was something else I wanted to do too. Yeah. So lucky I had, something to keep me in line. And save money. No. Don't spend all your money. No.
Everyone would like to save money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not really good with money. My brother's really good with money.
I've got 4 children. I don't save a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay, just the end of it. It's kind of... I'd just like to ask you if you would like to add anything that I forgot to ask about your career, your life. No, the only thing I would like to add is that being a member of the RCMP I have found very rewarding. Oh, yeah.
I know a lot of people join the RCMP to move around, right? Because you can work anywhere in the country. And others join it, but they want to stay in one spot. I haven't had the opportunity to move around a lot. I've been in Saskatchewan. So I've been in Swift Current for 2 different jobs, Regina now for my 5th different job in Regina in 8 years. And that's why it's rewarding to me, though. I've been a member of the RCMP for 16 years. I had 7 different jobs.
7 different jobs?
So it's not going, and I don't mean anything bad about this, but the baker goes to the bakery every day. The mechanic goes to the garage every day. The school teacher comes to school every day. And I love that. But in the RCMP, I'm not sure how many jobs there are, but you get so many different opportunities.
Yeah, there's different levels.
You move up in the ranks, or you move across into a different job. It's a new challenge, new rewarding, so it's hard to get bored in that. And I really like that in the job. And I like working with the youth especially, because having been a school teacher before, having kids of my own, seeing their friends, and in this job, I love it. I guess you're serving the public. Yeah. I love it, and for the most part, people like us and respect us, and it's very satisfying.
The respect.
Yeah. Yep. It's as long as as a police officer you don't let that respect or power people say we have go to your head, you know, you treat people. It's no different. I treat people the way I want to be treated.
Yeah.
You know, I treat you the way I want another police officer to treat my children.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's what my mom always tells me.
Yeah, your mom's a wise person.
Yeah.
Don't complain when you get treated poorly. If you're, you know, you might pick on a smaller kid or a younger kid at school, but then cry when someone picks on you.
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way. No.
Yeah.
No, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it.